So now let's take a look at solving equations. Now the key thing that you've always got to remember when you're working with equations is that you always have to do the same thing on both sides of the equal sign to keep the equation balanced. So if you're adding 2 to one side, you have to add 2 to the other side. If you're multiplying by something on one side, you have to multiply everything on the other side by the same thing. When you're trying to solve an equation, what you're trying to do is distill it down to x equals a number, or possibly more than one number. So we're trying to undress the x, assuming it's x that you're trying to find, whatever letter you're trying to find. And you get a final solution, x equals something. If you've got a fraction, it's always or usually a good idea to get rid of it by taking the denominator of that fraction and multiplying every term by that. Then we want to get all the x terms on one side of the equals and everything that doesn't have an x in it on the other side. Okay, some for you to have a go at and some hints in the box that might help you with them. Pause the video and come back when you're ready to go through the answers. Okay, answers then. I'm going to just reveal the answers and then I will go through each of the equations in turn. So if you don't feel the need to go through any of them, then you can skip to the end of the video once you've got the answers. So number 1, x is 4.
Number 2, x is negative 1.
Number 3, x is negative 4. Number 4, x is negative 1. Number 5, x is 3. Number 6, x is 5/7. And number 7, x is 3/2. Okay, so let's have a look at the solutions to each of those. Okay, so with question 1, the x has gone into the function machine, it's been multiplied by 4, then it's had 5 taken away, and the answer is 11. So to get back to having the x on its own, we need to do all that backwards. We need to add 5 to both sides. So if we've got negative 5 and we add 5, it disappears from there and we're left with just 4x on that side. And we add 5 to the 11 and we get 16. And if 4 lots of x is 16, then we need to divide both sides by 4 to get 1 lot of x. So x is 4. Now with number 2, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either expand the brackets, which is the way that most people are taught first, and it will always work, or you can divide both sides by 5, because the 5 here is a factor of the 15. So let's do the expanding the brackets version first, which is probably more familiar to you. So we do 5 times 2 gives us 10, and 5 times negative x gives us minus 5x, and that gives us 15. Now, again, you've got a choice of things that you could do here. We could add 5x to both sides and take away 15 from both sides, so we get a positive number of x's on the right. But I think it's just as easy to leave the negative 5x where it is and just get rid of the 10. So if we take away 10 from both sides, then the 10 disappears from here, and we need to take away 10 from this side, so 15 minus 10 leaves you with 5, and we've still got negative 5x on this side. Just because you've taken away the 10, you haven't taken away the minus sign that's in front of the 5x, that's attached to the 5x. So then we need to divide both sides by negative 5. So negative 5x divided by negative 5 is just x, and 5 divided by negative 5 is negative 1. The other way is to divide both sides by 5. So if we've got 5 lots of 2 minus x, and we divide that by 5, we're left with just 2 minus x. And then we divide the right-hand side by 5 as well. 15 divided by 5 gives us 3. And again, you could add x and subtract 3 both sides, so you get a positive number of x's, but let's just do the same as we've done on the other version. So we'll take away 2 both sides, which leaves us with negative x is 3 minus 2, which is 1. And then divide both sides by negative 1, and you're left with x equals 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1. Now often with these ones, this second method is just slightly quicker, though both methods are fine. And of course you can only use the second method if the number outside the bracket goes into the number on the other side of the equation. Otherwise, well, you can do it, but you end up with fractions. Okay, for number 3, we have 5x minus 2 equals 8x plus 10. Let's get all the x's on one side and everything without an x on the other. Now we've got 5x on the left and 8x on the right, so let's gather our x's where we've got the most x's to begin with. So if we take away 5x on both sides, the 5x disappears from here and the 8x becomes 3x. And we want to get rid of that plus 10 from this side. So let's take away 10 from both sides. The 10 disappears from here, and the minus 2 goes down to negative 12. Now you can do that in 2 steps if you want to. You don't have to do it all in one go. So 3x is negative 12. If we divide both sides by 3, we get x is negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. Okay, on to number 4. Now with this one, you have to expand the brackets because you haven't got a common factor left and right. So expanding the brackets, we do 4 times 2 gives us 8. 4 times negative x is minus 4x. And 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 5 is 15. So it looks quite similar to the previous one now. We need to get all the x's on one side. Now if we took away the 3x from this side, we'd end up with negative 7x on the left. So let's again put the x's where we've got the most x's to start with. So we've got positive 3x on this side and negative 4x on that side. So although there's 4 of them, it's negative 4 of them. So let's add 4x to both sides. So it disappears from there, and it's added on to the 3x on this side. So we end up with 7x on the right. So that leaves us with 8 equals 7x plus 15. And then subtract 15 from both sides. So the 15 disappears from the right. We're left with just 7x on the right. And you've got 8 minus 15 on the left, gives you negative 7. And then divide both sides by 7, so you get x is negative 7 divided by 7 is, of course, negative 1 again. 5. Now we're into the realms of fractions. First thing we want to do is get that x off the bottom of the fraction. And getting rid of the whole fraction is a good thing, in fact. So let's multiply both sides by everything that's on the bottom of the fraction. So if you do 24 divided by x plus 3 and then multiplied by x plus 3, you're left with just 24. It's inverse operations. They undo each other. So we're left with 4 lots of x plus 3 on the right. Now this is another one where either you can expand the brackets, or you can say, well, 4 goes into 24. So I'm going to do it both ways again. So expanding the brackets, we get 24 is 4x plus 12. Take away 12 both sides, so 24 minus 12 is 12, and we're left with just 4x on the right. And then divide by 4 both sides, so we get x is 12 divided by 4, which is 3. Or divide both sides by 4. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. And 4 lots of x plus 3 divided by 4 is 4 quarters of x plus 3. It's just x plus 3. So we can take away 3 from both sides and we get x equals 3. So you can see it is slightly quicker doing it that way. Now number 6. Now we've got x plus 1 over 3 plus x minus 1 over 4 equals a half. Now let's start by multiplying everything by 3 to get rid of this 3 on the bottom. So x plus 1 divided by 3 times 3 just gives you x plus 1. And then we need to multiply this next fraction by 3, so we get 3 lots of x minus 1 all over 4. And then we multiply a half by 3, so we get 3 halves. Now we've still got to get rid of the 4 and the 2 on the bottom. If we multiply by 2, we're not going to get rid of the 4 here, are we? So let's multiply by the 4. So we need to multiply the x plus 1 by 4. So 4 lots of x plus 1. Remember, you've got to multiply everything by what's on the bottom. And then 3 lots of x minus 1 divided by 4 times 4 is just 3 lots of x minus 1. And 4 times 3 is 12 over 2, which is 6. Again, we can't divide through by a common factor, so we need to expand the brackets now. So we get 4x plus 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3x plus 3 times negative 1 is minus 3, and that equals 6. Collect the like terms of the x's on one side, everything else on the other side. So we've got 4x plus 3x gives us 7x. And if we've got 4 minus 3, that gives us plus 1 there. Subtract 1 on both sides. 6 minus 1 is 5. And finally divide by 7 both sides, so x is 5/7. And the last one. We've got 3 over x minus 3 equals 5 over x minus 4. Again, we need to multiply everything by the bottom of each fraction, and we'll get it all on one line that way. So if we multiply everything by x minus 3, we're going to be left with just 3 on the left, because we've done 3 divided by x minus 3 times x minus 3. And that's going to give us 5 lots of x minus 3 all over x minus 4. And if we multiply everything by x minus 4, we get 3 lots of x minus 4 equals 5 lots of x minus 3 divided by x minus 4 times x minus 4. They cancel out, so it's just this. So expand the brackets because we haven't got a common factor there. So we do 3x minus 12 equals 5x. 5 times minus 3 is minus 15. Gather all the x's on the side that's got the most x's to begin with, so that's on the right. So we subtract 3x from both sides, and we're left with 2x. And add 15 to both sides. So minus 12 plus 15 gives us 3. Divide by 2 both sides, and you get x is 3 over 2. And that's it for solving equations. Next we're on to simultaneous equations.